Alright, what's up guys? We're going to film a quick video on how to solve equations by factoring. So you only had to factor, but I wanted to kind of take you down the path that we're going to be doing tomorrow a little bit. So first I had to factor this. I was thinking about two numbers that would multiply to be 35 while adding to be 12. Those two numbers are 5 and 7. So I set it up with the variable p plus 5 and p plus 7. I really could have done that in either order. So one of the things that we talked about today in terms of graphing will connect, but things that make something an intercept are what make them zero. So whenever you were graphing them, we were really talking about those x-intercept points, those points that lie right here. Those are really key when you're solving equations that have to do with gravity and a lot of other ideas with quadratics. And so what we want to do is once we have them factored, we kind of want to split the problem into two. And if you notice, if they're multiplying against each other to be 0, the only way two things multiply to be 0 is if one of them is 0. So when I'm trying to figure out, okay, what number plus 5, if I plugged it in, would make everything 0, that's why we need to go out to the side here and basically set each part equal to 0 and solve to see what value with if I plugged it in would actually calculate the whole thing to be 0. So it's actually a fairly straightforward solve. We're going to subtract 5 over to the other side and you get -5, and if you do that over here you get -7. So those are the values that we would see on the graph if we were to graph this, okay? And that was something that I wanted us to connect with the activity that we did today. Maybe some of you did, maybe some of you didn't, but this particular value, -5, this particular value, -7, they can be really easily found through factoring. So let's talk about one more, and again, your homework is only to factor it. So we're going to do the next part in class for the most part. So let's take each of these and set it equal to 0. And so let's think about what multiplies to be -48 but adds to be -2. So numbers that are basically 2 away from each other that multiply to be 48, I'm thinking about 8 times 6. So whenever you're trying to make sure that they multiply to be a negative, that means you have one negative number and you're multiplying it by one positive number. And so I'm thinking, how are we going to get to -2? You're really at -8 and you're adding 6. Those two numbers would multiply to be -48 while adding to be -2. So that is how I factor it, x minus 8 and x plus 6. Alright, so good luck. I want you to try basically the next 4, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then of course we'll do the solving part later in class. But hopefully that was helpful, and we will see you guys tomorrow.